First at 4, who's up next? Governor Whitmer is expanding eligibility for COVID vaccines. We'll tell you about the change and when it goes into effect. New York's governor is fighting for his political life. Andrew Cuomo's new response to sexual harassment claims, what he says about resigning. Plus, Ben is working on your forecast.
Yeah, Karen, it looks identical to Monday and Tuesday, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Poke your head out the door if you haven't already, and we'll tell you why not to expect more of it right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, the line for COVID vaccines in Michigan is about to get longer as more people are tossed into that pool of eligibility. Governor Gretchen Whitmer made the announcement today, just before noon. She says people age 50 and older with pre-existing medical conditions or disabilities are about to become eligible for the vaccine. Now, that part of the plan will go into effect starting next Monday, March 8th. Then on March 22nd, all Michiganders 50 and up will also become eligible. She says more doses are available and the state is already meeting its vaccination goals.
We're going to be one of the first states in the nation. It's because we've got this many vaccines on hand. We've been hitting our 50,000 mark for 16 days straight. And with these additional vaccines, we could take it higher than that because the Biden administration is confident that more and more vaccines are coming online and available. So we're excited about that.
New at 5, we'll start looking at how this is going to work as some senior citizens still don't have their shots. We're tracking the latest vaccine plan at 5. Also, today, the state of Michigan is reporting more than 1,500 new cases of the virus in the past 24 hours. Also, there were 5 additional deaths. Remember, you can follow coronavirus updates and find links to your local vaccine information on our website, clickondetroit.com. State prosecutors today laid out their case against 3 men charged in the alleged plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Paul Beller, Joseph Morrison, and Pete Uzico face several charges, including threats of terrorism. Attorneys question the description of the so-called Wolverine Watchman militia as a terrorist organization. But the FBI says the group openly used Facebook to recruit members who were anti-government. The men allegedly used a secret messaging app called Wire, where they expressed violent thoughts. A special agent read a chat from Paul Beller in response to the governor's executive orders.
I'm serious. I'm honestly about to snap. I can't afford to miss 1 month's rent, let alone in a whole another month. She's about to make me go homeless. Paul Beller continues and says, I guess my girlfriend got blue pilled. She's over here defending Gretchen. I'm about to snap.
The preliminary exam will determine if there's enough evidence to send the case to trial. Every year, local auto workers anxiously await those profit-sharing numbers, and now we have the 2020 update from Stellantis. UAW workers at the company, formerly known as FCA, will receive bonuses for a little over $8,000. It's a little less than General Motors workers who received $9 grand, but substantially more than Ford UAW workers who received more than $3,600. The Stellantis worker should receive their payments March 15th. What a difference a day and some sunshine can make for you. We are warming up into the 50s, and who does not appreciate that? I'd like to keep this coming, Ben.
You sure would, Karen. I'll tell you, 57, that number in the corner of your screen is not a misprint. That's where we are. The cold front was supposed to be here by now, but it decided to hang out in northern lower Michigan, and we do not mind that at all. Temperatures are in the mid-50s. Detroit, at least at Metro Airport, at 56 now. Ann Arbor at that same number. A little bit cooler out towards the lake at 43. But even though those winds are out of the northwest, that's where the warmer air was yesterday. So cold front comes through this evening. We'll tell you what that means for the nighttime. Also, the warmest air of the season is headed this way next week. We'll show you what's sandwiched in between, and returning the middle of next week will be the next big storm. We'll check that out for you in just a few minutes. Karen?
All right, always appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. We've got a warning from U.S. Capitol Police today, and they say they do have intelligence showing there is a possible plot by a militia group to breach the U.S. Capitol and remove Democratic lawmakers tomorrow. That threat appears to be connected to a far-right conspiracy theory that former President Trump will rise again to power on March 4th. The alert came as the head of the D.C. National Guard testified before Senate committee, saying it took the Army 3 hours to approve sending his troops to the Capitol on January 6th.
I've been involved in civil disturbances, so I believe that number could have made a difference. We could have helped extend the perimeter and help push back the crowd.
General Walker says days before the riot, Pentagon leaders restricted his ability to deploy troops in response to protests.
So the memo was unusual in that it required me to seek authorization from the Secretary of the Army and the Secretary of Defense to essentially even protect my guardsmen.
Walker says military leaders advised that deploying troops would not be good optics and might incite rioters further. Military leaders maintained there was no delay on their end, saying it took time to clarify and organize a response. Well, it does look like Democrats are playing let's make a deal to ensure the passage of a new COVID relief bill. One reported compromise would affect how many Americans are in line for another stimulus payment. Kimberly Gill, following the negotiations. And Kim, things can change pretty quickly on Capitol Hill.
That they can. And good afternoon, Karen. The U.S. Senate could take its first vote today just to get the debate started. We're already hearing about some possible tweaks to firm up support for the $1.9 trillion plan. Sources say President Biden has agreed to tighten the income limits to qualify for those $1,400 stimulus payments. Under the compromise, anyone making $80,000 or more wouldn't get any stimulus money. Originally, Democrats phased out the payments up to $100,000. For couples, checks would end for anyone making $160,000 or more. Democrats are holding firm to a $400 a week in emergency unemployment benefit. Moderates, though, were trying to push it down to $300. Projects in California and New York that some called favors to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have been dropped. It's a bitter battle over what's absolutely needed in this bill and what is not. Listen.
Even liberal experts admit this is far, far out of proportion to what's needed now. With vaccines going into arms and the economy already primed to literally roar back.
When people want resources to open schools quickly and safely, that's not a liberal wish list, that's an American wish list. When people want assistance for the hardest hit small businesses, that's not a liberal wish list, that's an American wish list.
Well, if the bill passes that procedural vote, there would be 20 hours of debate before the final passage of the bill before it could even be considered. Democrats want a deal before March 14th, and that is when enhanced unemployment benefits run out. So, Karen, by our calendar, that's only 11 days away. So we'll see. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says he will not resign amid sexual harassment allegations. Two former aides accuse Cuomo of making inappropriate remarks, and one says he kissed her without her consent. Today, Cuomo apologized for making anyone feel uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever pain I caused anyone. I never intended it. And I will be the better for this experience.
Cuomo says he will cooperate with the New York Attorney General's investigation into the claims. That office is selected an outside law firm to investigate. Today is World Hearing Day, a day designed to raise awareness about the number of people living with unaddressed hearing loss. It's a problem that a growing number of people have noticed more often during the pandemic. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to explain why. Hi, Doc.
Hey, Karen. Yeah, so when we begin to suffer hearing loss, we tend to subconsciously rely more on other senses, in particular, reading lips. But since everyone started wearing masks, many people have suddenly realized they are struggling to hear what's being said. It's estimated 17% of adults are suffering from hearing loss in the United States. That's 36 million people. Early signs of hearing loss can be subtle, needing to turn up the volume on the TV, struggling to hear certain voices, or difficulty understanding others in a noisy place.
Some people will find that they just have to concentrate more, like they might have to lean in, or they might just have to focus more, or they may find themselves just exhausted at the end of a day.
While some hearing loss cannot be prevented, there are things you can do to reduce your risk, including limiting the amount of time you wear earbuds, AirPods, or a headset, and turning down the volume of whatever you're listening to. Taking care of your overall health can also help.
If it's heart healthy, it's ear healthy, because it's been shown that many of the things which affect heart health, like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, also influence how much the ears age over time.
Being able to hear is vital to mental health as well.
People with greater degrees of hearing loss have higher risk of depression and anxiety because it is very socially isolating.
Don't suffer in silence if you notice any hearing loss. Only 20% of people who could benefit from treatment actually seek it. Hearing aids have become very advanced and make a big difference in your quality of life. Now, this past year, many have actually believed that there may be higher levels of hearing loss. As people work or learn remotely, many people have been wearing earbuds or headphones for hours on end, day in and day out. So be sure to keep the volume as low as possible and only wear them when it's truly necessary. Back to you.
Something very important to consider. We appreciate it. Thank you, Doc. Still ahead, status and so. Is the price of your morning coffee about to jump? We'll tell you about the decision facing coffee roasters. And check out this video, an entire store swaying. We'll tell you about an earthquake that rattled an entire region. But first, timing your taxes. If you're hoping for another stimulus check, you might want to rethink when you file your return. We'll explain.